My coworker said, "Thanks for covering my shift again, but I've never worked at that restaurant before." I stared at the woman in the green apron, my brain struggling to process her words. "I think you have me confused with someone else. I don't work here." She laughed like I was making a joke and wiped down the counter between us. "Come on, Sarah. You covered for me last Thursday when my kid was sick, remember? And the week before that when I had that dentist appointment. My name is Sarah, but I'd never seen this woman before in my life. I was just trying to grab lunch before my real job at the insurance office across the street. I'm sorry, but there's definitely been a mistake. I work at Mutual Benefits Insurance." Her smile faded as she studied my face more carefully, confusion replacing the casual familiarity from moments before. "Wait, you're not Sarah Mitchell from the evening shift?" She pulled out her phone and scrolled through what looked like a work schedule. "But you look exactly like her. Same hair, same height, even the same birthmark on your wrist." I glanced down at the small crescent-shaped mark I'd had since childhood, feeling increasingly unsettled. This stranger knew details about my appearance that most people wouldn't notice. "Look, I really need to see Sarah Mitchell's employee file," I said, my voice getting higher. The manager emerged from the back office looking tired and confused. "Everything okay, Lisa?" The woman shook her head and pointed at me. "This is Sarah Mitchell, but she's claiming she doesn't work here." The manager squinted at me, then pulled out a tablet and started typing. "According to our system, Sarah Mitchell has been employed here for 8 months. Perfect attendance, never late, model employee." He turned the screen toward me, and my blood turned to ice. There was my face in an employee photo I'd never taken, wearing a uniform I'd never seen. The address listed was my apartment. The phone number was mine. Even the emergency contact was my sister. "This is impossible. I've never filled out an application here. I've never even eaten here before today." The manager scrolled through more screens, showing me clock-in records, payroll deposits, even performance reviews praising my work ethic and customer service skills. "Sarah, you worked a double shift just 3 days ago. Clocked in at noon, left at midnight. 3 days ago, I'd been home with food poisoning, barely able to leave my bed. I need to see security footage from 3 days ago." My hands were shaking as I spoke. The manager hesitated, but something in my expression must have convinced him this wasn't a prank. We crowded around his office computer as he pulled up the surveillance files. There on the screen was someone who looked exactly like me, wearing the restaurant uniform, serving customers, taking orders, but I was watching myself do things I'd never done, in a place I'd never been. "That's not me," I whispered, even though the evidence was undeniable. The woman on screen had my face, my mannerisms, even the way I tucked my hair behind my left ear when concentrating. The manager paused the video and zoomed in on the employee's hands. There was the birthmark, identical to mine. The realization hit me like a physical blow. My twin sister, the one I'd been told died at birth. My parents had mourned her for 32 years, keeping her hospital bracelet in their bedroom dresser. But twins don't have identical birthmarks unless they're literally identical. "I need copies of everything," I said, my voice barely audible. "Employee file, security footage, payroll records, all of it." The manager printed everything while I called my parents from the restaurant's parking lot. "Mom, I need to know the truth about my twin sister. Did she really die?" The silence on the other end lasted forever. Then my mother started crying. "We gave her up for adoption. We were 19 and couldn't handle 2 babies. They told us never to contact her. My sister had been working 50 feet from my office for 8 months." I drove to the address listed in her employee file with printouts spread across my passenger seat. The apartment complex was identical to mine, just 3 miles away. When I knocked on the door of Unit 23B, it opened to reveal my own face staring back at me. "Hello, Sarah," she said quietly. "I wondered when you'd figure it out." Her name was Rebecca. She'd been searching for our family since she turned 18. She'd found me 2 years ago and had been systematically inserting herself into my life, testing how close she could get before I noticed. The job at the restaurant was just the beginning. She had credit cards in my name, a driver's license with my information, even applications for apartments in my neighborhood. "Why didn't you just contact me directly?" I asked, though I was afraid of the answer. Rebecca's expression hardened. "Because you got to keep them. You got the family, the childhood, the love. I got foster care and group homes." She'd spent months studying me, learning my routines, my expressions, my habits. The identity theft was revenge disguised as sisterhood. "I wanted to take everything you had, piece by piece, until you knew what it felt like to have nothing." I called the police from her doorstep. The investigation revealed she'd been planning for years, gathering information, building fake documents, preparing to steal my entire life. Rebecca got 3 years for identity theft and fraud. I got a sister I'd never wanted and trust issues that required months of therapy to resolve.